This video was sponsored by Microids. You might be surprised to hear me talking about a Smurfs game. Smurfs hasn't really come up before on this channel, to my knowledge. But you know what? The Smurfs 2, The Prisoner of the Greenstone, surprised me too. It goes without saying that the world could use more 3D platformers, and Smurfs 2 is kind of a platformer third-person shooter hybrid. It's got some fun mechanics to play with and multiple combat options, as well as a dash function that makes both platforming and combat feel good. You can even upgrade all of your abilities and take on challenges for extra rewards, but then it's overall still simple enough that younger audiences will be able to have fun with it, especially on lower difficulty settings. In fact, I'd say it's probably a great introduction to the third-person shooter genre. The presentation is really nice, it's fully voice-acted, and the performances are very lively. The world is super colorful, the environments are lush. You break these crystal things that are growing all over the place, and it's one of those things that just kind of feels nice, you know? And the music is great too, very whimsical. The Smurfs 2, The Prisoner of the Greenstone, has been a solid experience so far. It's out now on all major platforms, and you can learn more by smurfing the link in the description below. I don't know. My friends, we've reached the end of another year of Nintendo, of this little Nintendo Switchy guy right there. And you know what? It's been a good year. It was good to be a Nintendo fan this year, and I know this kind of like end of year wrap up review. It's taken a couple different forms. I don't know. I'm keeping things pretty darn casual this year. This is not comprehensive or anything like that. I really just want to talk about stuff, just kind of like go down all of the major stuff that Nintendo got up to in 2023. And yeah. I guess when you think about it, you can kind of break the year down into three different parts: what Nintendo announced, what they released, and what they did. So let's start with the good one. Let's start with the real juicy one, the Nintendo Directs. Nintendo Directs in 2023. We ate pretty darn well. Some years they'll skip February, some years they'll skip June, but nope, this year we had the three major tentpole directs. We had the February, the June, and the September. And oh my gosh, they were all great. February Direct, so many delightful surprises, a full reveal trailer for Pikmin 4 that already wins in my book. And then the just delightful surprises, they didn't stop coming. We had Ghost Trick, we Love Katamari, we finally got a release date for Advance Wars, we got Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, we an announcement for a new Professor Layton of all things, and then of course, Metroid Prime Remastered, beautiful remastered, cheap price, shadow drop, all that stuff we've talked about endlessly, but like, the amount of hype that instilled into this Direct, it cannot be overstated. This Direct, I don't know, it felt like an event. It was so exciting and so good. And then of course at the end they did a new trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, and that's when all the stuff was really coming out about what the game was about. So it was like a little bit disappointing to end yet another Direct with a Zelda trailer, but like it was still really great. The Direct was super good. And then June, I still believe June went down as the weirdest, just the weirdest, in a good way, weirdest Direct ever. It was just expect the unexpected with this one. It was so weird. It was Super Mario RPG, which itself really started like breaking the ice on like returning to the classic Mario RPG formulas that we didn't know if Nintendo was like never gonna give us. Were they gonna acknowledge it? I don't know, but they did. Super NES classic. Remake looked beautiful from second one. Everyone's super happy about it. Just everyone could just be collectively really super happy about it. And then other stuff in here. The reveal of Princess Peach Showtime. Princess Peach is getting another game. Okay, awesome. Luigi's Mansion 2 remaster, just kind of randomly. Okay, we'll take that too. You had the Pikmin 1 and 2 shadow drop. Again, just kind of creating this weird precedent. Now it's just, okay, releasing games suddenly during Nintendo Directs is just a thing that Nintendo does now. It's not a thing they ever did before. You know, demos, sure, maybe like really small eShop titles, but just like big high-profile remasters, okay, sure, that's a thing Nintendo does now. And it's Pikmin coming after Metroid, like, come on. And then this Direct revealed Penny's Big Breakaway, which looks really fantastic. You had WarioWare Move It, another WarioWare game. And then it ended with Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which just It was crazy. Like, it was just crazy. Just, I don't know. It's just one of those pure, wonderful Nintendo Direct kind of moments. We finally get a new 2D Mario game, and it's weird and colorful and strange, and it looks like everything everyone has been asking for, and it's just this, like, dream thing. It happens, and then you feel like you're gonna wake up, because, like, that's not real. That didn't happen. But it did happen. It was just like one unexpected announcement after another with that June Direct. And then going into the September Direct, it was like the bar was set pretty high. And I would say that, like, for the majority of the September Direct, it was okay. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't, like, quite reaching that level. You had good stuff in there. We had, like, an actual full reveal of Princess Peach Showtime. You know, Mario vs. DK was in there. Another Code Recollection. Really, really, really nice surprise. F-Zero 99, you know, it's not, like, really a super ultra brand new F-Zero game, but it's still an F-Zero game, and it's still cool, and it was fun. It's really cool. And so it's like, you know, we're like, okay, we're all right. But, like, you know, how do you judge? How do you really, at least for me, how do I really judge a Nintendo Direct? It's the bombshells. It's the bombshells. And then right when I thought I knew what this Direct was about, I knew what level it was going to reach, and then at the end, the big one, the big one, the big one, Thousand Year Door. Mario RPG hadn't even released yet. That's what I still am grappling with, just the weirdness of that, the reality of that. Why would they do that? Why would they put these projects so close together? I thought Mario RPG was, like, kind of testing the waters for more traditional Mario RPG. You know what I mean? Well, do people want a more, like, adventure, puzzly kind of Paper Mario, like the more recent games, or do they want a more of a classic RPG, turn-based combat kind of return? Oh, I don't know. Kind of thought they would wait that out. No, before that game even releases. Thousand Year Door. Just mind-blowing, mind-bending, mind-destroying and melting on all of those words that you can possibly think to use. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't even have anything else to say. So I'm just still grappling with the reality. So those were the Directs. And, like, yeah, that's a really great year of Directs. I would say overall, I've said this before. I've been saying this for years. Nintendo's Directs have just gotten so good. The beginning of the Switch generation, they started out with some really good ones, and then, like, it kind of went up. They had their ups and downs. There were a few that were just kind of they were okay. Some kind of lesser stuff. I don't know. It was ups and downs, but the last couple years, I feel like, have been very consistent. Really good spread of games and announcements and things in each presentation. Good entertainment factor. And 2023, it was great. They were really great. Nintendo Directs in 2023 were just great. I remember there was once a time when I was worried that Nintendo Directs would never even come back at all. So it's good to see they're not only back, but they have been maintaining a consistent level of quality since that point. So that's it for what Nintendo announced in 2023, but now let's look at the real tangible stuff, the stuff that they released, the games that they published onto their platform. Because more than anything, that's what it's about, right? That's what Nintendo does. That's their thing. They make games. So let's look at the actual games that we got in 2023. When you look at the games that Nintendo released in 2023, it is hard to find fault. You know, like with Nintendo Directs, years of the Switch's life, it's had its ups and downs. You've had years with, like, a whole bunch of releases. You know, the first year of its life, 2017, obviously was a famous year. There was something new to play, something at least sort of notable every month or two. And it was great. And then you had other years where it was kind of like really not that much stuff, maybe like one big game at the end and then a couple other, like, smaller titles. Not super exciting, but my gosh, 2023, like, you had your three major tentpoles. You know, you had your Tears of the Kingdom, your Mario Wonder, your Pikmin 4. I know Pikmin 4 is more of a me thing. It's still a little bit niche, but I guess it's been selling well enough that I could call it a relatively, it's not going to sell Zelda or Mario numbers, but I'll call it a big release. There was a big marketing push and all that stuff. So you had those games, not perfectly spread out, you know, Pikmin and Zelda were a little bit close together, but then Mario at the end, and then you have all of these other titles sprinkled in throughout the year. So many. We had a new Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Engage. We had a new WarioWare game. Metroid Prime Remastered, again, that was just a thing that was randomly dropped and was incredible and amazing. You had Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. You had Pikmin 1 and 2, another surprise game. You had Bayonetta Origins. We finally had Advance Wars. We had Everybody 1-2 Switch. We had F-Zero 99. We had Detective Pikachu. We had Super Mario RPG this year. What the heck? What the heck was up with this year? That has to be the most packed schedule they've ever had. I know a few things. I know, like, I don't know, I guess some were simple remasters, I suppose. I don't know if you count that quite as heavily. I know Tears of the Kingdom was delayed a lot of times into 2023. Everybody 1-2 Switch had a rocky development, took a long time to get there. And then, of course, Advance Wars, that was delayed a bunch of times, too. But I don't know, like, just like sheer number, that is a really, really crazy lineup for 2023. Again, I say it was a very good year to be a Nintendo fan. And then, of course, you have to look at the actual releases of these big games. You know, Tears of the Kingdom, it had all the building mechanics and stuff. That ended up going over very, very well. Social media was all crazy about it. I know now that the dust is kind of settling a little bit, opinions are a little bit more mixed. We're kind of like getting into that more criticism territory. But for the most part, the launch of Tears of the Kingdom was just awesome, just great, big social media juggernaut. It is worth mentioning the $70 price tag. Nintendo's very first $70 game. That is a big thing, although it won't be a big thing for long because, I mean, this isn't a prediction video, but like I'm 100% sure the next system, all of the games are going to be $70. But so it was interesting seeing the very first one happen this year. But, you know, I did a whole video talking about that and all that. Everything else, though, Mario Wonder ended up going over super well. Everybody loved it, and it just felt really, really good that everybody was just going nuts. Just going nuts for this Mario game. It's that pure Nintendo magic. People were just so delighted by the experience, and that was great. And then of course, the launch of Pikmin 4. The launch of Pikmin 4. Everyone's playing Pikmin. There was this period of time, everyone's either playing 1 or 2, then 4 comes out, and the demo and all that. It was just good. Like, the Pikmin fandom grew so unbelievably much. I think the Pikmin fandom multiplied by like 10 in 2023, and that makes it a very good year in my book. So that's what Nintendo announced, that's what Nintendo released, and now it is time for what they did. Just the other stuff, the odds and ends, the bits of news, the other happenings that happened in the year of 2023. Again, this is not comprehensive. I've just got like a list of some of the standout stuff that happened during the year. This was the year that Charles Martinet retired. Very, very sad. Everything I have ever seen about that man, he just seems like the most just delightful, happy-go-lucky guy. He seems to just embody the spirit of Mario to such a crazy degree. And yeah, it was really sad to see him go this year. That was a notable event, if a bit of a sad one. In 2023, Nintendo updated their rules and guidelines and all that for people running independent tournaments. And I did a whole video on this, and like I don't want to go too deep into it. I still count that as a very bad thing. I know there were a lot of people responding to me saying a lot of companies have guidelines like this, and so you can't just blame Nintendo for it. But my response to that is kind of like, just because other people do it doesn't mean it's okay. And then also, if other companies have these like boilerplate guidelines just to like kind of protect themselves legally, but then they otherwise really support the tournament scene, that's a little bit different. Some companies are doing that. Nintendo hates tournaments. I know, like, that's what I said in my video, and I got some flack for it, but just their actions, what they have done and what they have enforced, and now seeing these rules, they don't like people running independent tournaments because they like to have control of what they're doing with their IPs and all that stuff. Again, I don't want to go into all of it, but that's kind of my take on that. So that was another slightly lesser happy thing that happened in 2023. These are clearly in no particular order because now 2 of Nintendo's games got nominated for Game of the Year, and that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. It is absolutely not every year that Nintendo gets a Game of the Year nomination at the Game Awards, and this time they had Mario and Zelda, and I think that is really cool. You know, neither of them won. I didn't expect them to win, but just the fact that they're there at all. There have been so many years of Game Awards where Nintendo is just not present at all. They'll have a couple games in the family category, and that'll, like, be it. And otherwise, the rest of the industry is just, like, not interested in what they're putting out that year. So it was just good to see. You had these big, high-profile games, and then, like, Pikmin won Best, like, sim/strategy game. So it was a good year. It was cool they got so many nominations. 2023 was the year we got all the Mario Kart 8 DLC rollout, and that was a good time. This idea of, like, hey, we're gonna give you DLC, it's gonna be a huge amount of DLC, and it's gonna be released throughout the course of like a year and a half, that's fun, because you've always got something to look forward to. And I'm not even a huge Mario Kart guy, but that was just fun. Just every few months, it was like, oh, it's already time for the next one, and there's a new one, and I got to play it and do a video on it and everything. So I really like that. That was really nice. I really hope they do that with more of their games going forward. And of course, the DLC just ended up delivering a lot. Amazing tracks. We ended up getting surprises like characters and some original tracks coming over from tour. It was a good time. It was a really good time. Another sad one, the 3DS and the Wii U. This was the year where they the final nails were driven into the coffins, you know, where they finally shut down the eShops, and then they're like, you got about 2 seconds left, we're gonna shut down all online stuff. And it's another thing, there's been plenty of videos about it and everything, but it's a disappointing thing to see those two systems just completely dead. Just dead as a doornail. Just absolutely life ended. It's a real shame. In 2023, Nintendo hosted Nintendo Live, which was at PAX West in Seattle. I actually got to attend, like most of the things on this list. I got a whole video about that too. And that was a really cool time. That was really, really fun. It was a really great event. I really hope they do it more. They need to take it to more places in the country. I think that would be great. That was a very fun experience, and I got to see a whole bunch of friends and hang out with a bunch of them. It was a great time. You know what else happened in 2023? We got rumors. We started to get, there have always been rumors of Switch systems, especially, you know, Switch Pro, quote unquote, all that stuff. It's been going on and on and on, and I've already given all my opinions on that. This was the year when the Switch 2 rumors really started to pick up the pace. We started to get some real reports of many different people all saying, yeah, we've got dev kits. This is a real thing now. Lots of different sources corroborating various details. So, like, and I know a lot of people are still skeptical. It's another thing I've talked about endlessly, but I'm pretty sure this is real. And so that 2023 was the year it really started happening, really started to feel real, that, like, yeah, I don't know exactly when the next system's coming, but it can't be too far off. 2023 was the year Nintendo announced a Zelda movie. They announced casually on Twitter, super weird, Miyamoto drops in, hey everybody, Zelda movie, bye-bye, see you in 5 years. We don't know how long it's actually gonna be, what stage of development it's in, but there's gonna be a Zelda movie, and it's gonna be live action, and that's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. See ya in 2029 when we talk about it next. And then, speaking of movies, 2023 was the year we got the Mario movie. It's been so long. When did they announce it? They announced it so long ago. We had to wait such an agonizingly long time for this beautiful movie. And we didn't know what it was going to be like. And it ended up being pretty good. I know, you know, obviously reception is fairly mixed, but overall, it's more on the positive side. It didn't end up being this weird, garbagey nightmare like we were a little bit afraid that it might end up being. It ended up being a good, solid time, a good, solid take on Mario adapted to the screen. And that is, I mean, it was already a great year of Nintendo. Great Nintendo Directs, great releases, loads of games to play. And then the Mario movie doing really, really well and making lots of money. Like this, that was really, I don't know, that was the cherry on top. You know, as far as like Nintendo struggled with relevancy for so many years, you know, during the Wii U era, and now Switch, they've just been going up and up and up. And 2023, I feel like they've kind of, I don't want to say they've peaked as in they only have down to go, but I just mean like they've hit a new peak of modern Nintendo relevance in the media sphere. And I just think that's really great. You know, out of all the years to give us a Mario movie and have it do really well, this was a really, really good one. Nintendo saw a tremendous amount of success this year as a company. And there you have it. I already made my my thesis clear at the beginning of the video, but I will say it again. This was a good year. This was a very, very good year of Nintendo-dom. And you know, I could be wrong, obviously, could be wrong, but this just might have been the final year where the Switch got all of the spotlight. If next year really does see the release of the next Nintendo system, then this is the last fully Switch year. And you know what? If that ends up being true, I would say the Switch went out with a bang. But I'm sure that opinions will differ on this topic, so please head on down to the comments and let us know what you thought about 2023. Thank you for watching, and that's it. That's it. That's the year. That's a wrap. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Here's to a great 2024. That's a wrap, everyone. We're done. We did it. It's in the can. Everyone go home. Everyone wrap it up. There's no one here but me. I'm just gonna turn the lights off now.